Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf, BECHOROS Daf Lamed Vav. We begin at the second line off the top. Iboilu. The following question was posed in the Beis HaMedrash. As we have learned, there's some suspicion regarding Kohanim when they come forth presenting their Bechor with a mum. Due to the hardship involved in raising this animal and waiting for it to get a mum, specifically nowadays, where that's the only option, there was some suspicion, some mistrust in terms of whether this mum, this blemish, actually happened just, naturally by accident, or it was perhaps intentional. Perhaps it was inflicted b'kavana, purposely, in order for the kohen to relieve himself of the burden of looking after this animal forever and ever. So he needed to come along with some testimony, some sort of confirmation, to verify for us that in fact this is just, an accidental mum. It was not done intentionally. He needs to bring edus. He himself is not enough. He has to bring along some corroboration, some edus, as we learned yesterday. Now the question is, what about second-hand testimony? Iboilu, eid mipi eid. Shimon comes along and testifies that Reuven told him about the circumstances surrounding the mum. It happened just, by accident. Is that okay? Ma'u. Le'edus bechor, regarding edus bechor, is that valid or not? Do we need actual first-hand testimony, or even this kind of hearsay is enough? Rav Asi Asar says, no, it's not good enough. You need personal testimony. Rav Ashi, he said it's okay, Shari, he allowed it. Amalei Rav Asi. So Rav Asi, who did not, accept this, he turned to Rav Ashi, who did accept it, and he says, we have a brisa from Neiman Asha. Ein eid mipi eid kasher, ela le'edus ha'isha. Second-hand aid, this is only valid regarding permitting a woman, an aguna, to marry. So if the fellow comes along, testifies that her husband passed away, how does he know? Well, he heard it from the other fellow. That's okay, because we tend to take leniencies when it comes to this matter. The woman will certainly do her homework, research the facts, for otherwise she's going to be really in trouble if she remarries and the fellow shows up. So we have special leniencies, but apparently when it comes to other matters like Bechor, you need valid first-hand edus. Answers the Gemara. Let's revise the brisa. Ella, so second-hand is never sufficient unless Ella le'edus, to testify regarding matters sha'isha kshera, matters where a woman is also trusted, such as the edus regarding the mum of a Bechor. You don't need, edus as per the standard, standards of edus by a male and the bezdin. Here it's a matter of verifying the facts. Even a woman can come testify about the accidental nature of the blemish on the Bechor. Okay, so if that's the case, we accept second-hand edus as well. In fact, Rav Yemar, Achshar Eid Pi Eid B'Bechor, Rav Yemar passed the second-hand edus when it comes to the on the Bechor, and Merema was not happy. Karli Merema applied to him. He referred to him as Yemar, right? Because his name was Rav Yemar. Shari Bukhri, called him Yemar, the allower of the Bechor. He wasn't happy with this leniency. He held it has to be first-hand. However, the conclusion of the Gemara is that it's okay. Eid mipi eid kasher le'edus Bechor. Amar b'lo. So again, typically a kohen is not going to be, believed unless he has, proper testimony. But let's say, here comes an exception to the rule. Let's say we had no clue, no inkling about the nature of this, that it was even a Bechor. And the kohen comes along and voluntarily offers that information. Rabbi Yisai, you should know, A, it's a Bechor, and B, look, the mum just happened just outside on its own. Do we trust him or not? Yes, of course. That's called Pesha Asar. The same mouth that forbade Pesha Hitter came and permitted. It's one package. It's all, either you believe him entirely or nothing. If you're going to believe him on the first fact, that it's a bechor, you have to believe him on the second part as well, that it was a valid mum. Amar Billah, we had no idea this was a bechor. And the fellow comes along and tells us, number one, shu bechor, and number two, umuma imay. Look, it comes along with a mum, a natural mum. Now when we trust him, even though he's a kain, my kamashman, what's the relay coming to tell us? About this concept called pesha. Old news. We already know it from way back, from Ksuvos, Tanino. We have a brisa. Aisha ne'emenes. Aisha she'amra Aisha shayisi grushani. A woman comes along, would like to get married, and she says, by the way, you may not know this, but I had previously been married, and I'm divorced. Okay, so I'm ready again. Ne'emenes, we trust her on both facts. Why? Because the same person who told us that she had married status at a certain point also opened the door by saying there was a divorce. Same here. Since he's the one that informs us, A, that it's a bechor, and B, that there's a mum, you gotta believe. Well, says the Gemara, perhaps you can say that there's room for distinction between the two. You know why? In that case, what's the worst case scenario? She's falsifying. That she's still a married woman. She never got a divorce. So she's attempting to marry despite her married status. Okay, then if she's trying to do that, she didn't have to volunteer any information. Just go get married. Nobody had any clue about her married status. Hassam, in that case, if she wants, if she chose to hide the facts, she didn't have to tell us anything. Just marry without telling anyone. But in our case, there are two steps in the process here. First of all, he has to confirm for us that it was a valid, a naturally occurring mum. And number two, he has to show it to the chacham, right? He has to go show it to the expert. He's not an expert, he can't. He's going to show it to the expert to certify the mum. So inevitably the kohen has to come, deliver to the bechor to the chacham, and reveal to him the nature of the animal. He's compelled to open the can, so to speak, and reveal to us. But in our case, it's not sufficient to loy amra without telling anything. He has to get it certified. Even if a kohen is suspected of inflicting a mum, okay, but he would never take a uncertified mum and shecht it outside. Maybe it's not a valid mum. Maybe he's not allowed to shecht it outside. It's a derais. He wouldn't eat kachim b'chutz. It's kares, right? Rashi says implanting a mum is allowed, but eating it a carbon without a certified mum, eating it outside, that's kares, kachim b'chutz. He wouldn't dare do that. So perhaps in this case, since in a sense he's forced to come and offer the information, ema, maybe it doesn't qualify. Ema lo yapesha asarhu. Kamashman, the point is, we do trust him. You know why? Because to avoid the issue of kachim b'chutz, he didn't have to come to the Rav. He didn't have to. Certify the mum, I have an easier solution for him. Just implant a real blatant mum, chop off its leg, make something really obvious, in which case you don't have to show it to a chacham. Because if the issue is only the matter of certifying the mum, he would just apply an obvious blatant mum, which is clear to all, and he would just go eat it. He would eat it without showing it to a Rav, and nobody would know the difference. So he didn't really have to come. He didn't have to volunteer his information. The fact that he came and told us. At the same time, He's also testifying that it was a proper mum, that it was an accidental thing. And he's believed. I have a question. Why would this be different? I mean, basically going against the grain. You're trusting a kohen who's known not to be really trustworthy regarding bechoros, based on the logic of pesha hasar. How can that justify? Why is this different than the story of this fellow? He rented his donkey, to Shimon, his friend. And he warned him, look, you're going on a trip, but don't go through the Grand Canyon, it's flooded. Don't go on the highway, the Nahar of the river Pekoy. The Dikamaya, there's water, it's flooded. Do me a favor, take the other way. It's a bit longer, but it's safer, it's dry, it's safe. Zil, go, B'urcha on the way, the Narish, different highway. The Lekamai, there's no water. What did the fellow do? He went through the Grand Canyon. Zil, B'urcha, the Nar Pekoy, he went through Nar Pekoy, to miss, and it happens to be the donkey died from other causes, mischamra. And Shimon approaches Reuven, the owner, he says, look, I'll tell you the truth. I went through the Grand Canyon route, the flooded route. He comes and tells the owner, I went through the forbidden route, but you should know, lucky me, there was no water. There was no water there. I know, everybody knows this. There was no water. He didn't die because of the water. Can you believe him or not? Why would he have to lie? Of course you trust him. Nobody would know the difference. If he would want to lie, he would just claim, I went through the safe path. So now that he offered, that he went through the dangerous path, and he concludes by saying there was no danger present at the time, you have to believe him. And don't blame him for the death of the donkey. That's right. Abaye countered, what do you mean? You're going against facts. Malay l'shakar. So this malay l'shakar, why would he have to lie? So it confirms his credibility, but it's going against known facts. Mokam Edom. It's like Edom. We know there's water there, Lamrim. We can't give him credibility against Edom. Okay. So same here. The same over here, says the Gemara. You're giving a kind credibility on a matter which they have no credibility. Oh, says the Gemara, how could you compare the two stories? We all know there's water on that highway. He can't contradict the facts, no matter what kind of logic and efforts at establishing credibility he'll bring along. But Hachsam, as opposed to the kain with the mum, is it an established fact that a kain applies mumin to a bechor? I mean, do we know that he did it? Chashashu. It's a suspicion. It's a pretty strong suspicion. Chashashu. But it's no more than that. And when we deal with a chashash, Amrina Malul Shakir can counter that and undo the chashash. And therefore we trust the kain. So Ravina was sitting and saying over the halacha become like Shmaita v'legavra. This halacha that the kain is to be trusted upon volunteering the information, and he said it without attributing it to the source, to Rilah. Amalei Rav Azuti, so he turned to Ravina, he says, Anam Mishmei Rilah Mastin La. We have in the name of Rilah, that's the proper source. Okay, next story. Rabbi Tzaddik Havali Bukhra. Rabbi Tzaddik, who was a great tzaddik, he was actually a kain, Rabbi Tzaddik HaKain. He had in his possession a bechor that was given to him, by the Yisrael. And he was awaiting the arrival of a mum. Of course, he would never even dare consider, manipulating the process. But it so happens that he got a mum under his care, unintentionally. Ramalei Sari Besali. So Reb Tzaddik offered him some, sairim, barley in the basket, which would have a little of a sharp type of material. It was made of branches, arava branches, nasrei, kaili, aruva, arava klufa. Basically, it was made of nesarim, sali netsarim, shal arava klufa. Okay, different girses, but basically it was made of prickly, material. As the animal was having his meal and reaching into the prickly basket, his lips got cut. Ivz of sifsei, his lip got cut, which is a mum. Asla kamed Rabbi Shua, so Rabbi Tzaddik. Now comes to Rabbi Shua with a shaila. He says, look, I have no edus, but I'm telling you, this happened naturally. I didn't cause it. Amalei, and he asked Rabbi Shua, Klum chilaknu bein chaver lamaretz? There's a chashad on a kain, but is that even on a ma'ara, on a Talmud Chacham, on a chaver, an upstanding, trustworthy person? Or can you trust me that it was just an accident? Amar le Bisho, hey, yeah, of course, there's a difference. We're not chesed such a prominent person like you. Of course not. You can go and eat the bechor. Now, he wasn't 100% confident. He wanted to go ask the Rav Gamliel as well to confirm. Asal came to Rav Gamliel, who we know is the leader, the Nasi. Amalei, and he posed the same question. Klum chilaknu and chaver al-ma'aretz. Do we differentiate between a chaver and a ma'aretz regarding suspicions? Amalei, Rav Gamliel, loy. No, all across the board without exception. We don't make any exceptions. We don't want to get involved in complications. Amalei, so the petitioner, Rabbi Tzaddik, responds to Rav Gamliel, but Rabbi Yeshua did allow it. Amalei Rabbi Yeshua Amar li hein. He said Rabbi Yeshua did agree that there's room for distinction. Okay, Rav Gamliel was not very pleased with that opinion. In fact, he wanted to reinforce the opinion that he deemed to be reliable and correct. So he did it in a very absolute fashion. Amalei says, wait until everybody comes in, and we'll have the halacha established in a very public and unanimous way, without room for any deviation and confusion. Amalei Hamtin, wait around. Achiyalu Balei Treisen, until all the members of the yeshiva come in. Well, Rashi says Balei Treisen, a tris is a shield. The people, the armor people, the soldiers who come and debate matters of Torah. This is where it's happening. Wait until everybody comes in, the Beis HaMedrash, and we'll further analyze this matter. Once everybody arrives, so again the petitioner gets up and asks this question: do we differentiate between Chav and Aretz in this matter? And lo and behold, Rabbi Yeshua responds, Amalei, Rabbi Yeshua, love, no, we're not going to make any distinction, no exceptions. So he basically retracted from his earlier position. Perhaps he sensed that Rav Gamliel was not on board, so he didn't want to make Amalei, Rav Gamliel responded to him in a very direct way. He says, V'aloi mishimcha amru li hein. In your name it was told to me that there is distinction. And now Rav Gamliel wanted to reinforce the correct position, leave no room for misunderstanding, and he came across a bit harsh on Rabbi Yeshua, and the Bnei Yeshiva were very unhappy with it, as we're going to see. So he says, Yeshua, he called him Yeshua, Amoy deraglecha, get up on your feet, get up and have them testify against you. Amar Yeshua, Raglev, he got up, Amar, and he says, now I'm stuck. Hey Chesa, how should I proceed? Ilmale, if only Ani Chai, if I'm alive, Umeis, and the petitioner is no longer alive, so I can deny what I said. The live can contradict the lifeless. But if we're both alive, I'm alive and he's alive, now I'm really stuck. Hey, how can a live person contradict another live person? Rashi and Taisus explains, Kaleimar Savar Yisi Lahalim, he was contemplating, sort of concealing what he said. Now I'm stuck. Rashi learns a bit different. Rashi says, actually, I retracted and I changed my mind. In any case, in order to establish this as fact for all time, Rav Gamliel actually made a really big deal about it, and he compelled him to stay in a standing position. So all along, Gamliel was standing and proceeding with his drasha, with his shiur, while Rabbi Yeshua was standing, and this was dishonorable to Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua imid raglav. And it came a point where people had enough. The shurinu kol ha'am, everybody started murmuring. This is not appropriate. This is a bit over, too much. V'amr, they instructed there was. The Rosh Yeshiva had an announcer. They didn't have loudspeakers, so they had a person with a loud voice. In this case, his name was Chutzpah HaMaturgman. Maturgman, he would sort of convey the Rav's lessons and halachas and loudly announce it to the crowd. So they told him, stop, cut. V'amr l'chutzmas maturgman amoid, cut, stop speaking, remain silent. V'amad, and in fact he did. He was quiet, and that's how the episode ended. In fact, we have a sequel back in Brachos, a similar story where the question was posed regarding the status of Tfilas Arvis. What's the status of Ma'ariv? Is it chayva? Is it obligatory? Is it reshus? Is it voluntary? It's pretty much the same story, almost word for word. It was a question posed. Rabbi Shua responded one way. Rabbi Leil disagreed. He made him stand. There was a whole back and forth. And ultimately, the crowd was unhappy with the way Rabbi Shua was being sort of mistreated. Rabbi Leil meant l'shem shamayim, of course. He meant to establish the halacha and reinforce the authority of the Nasi, which is so critical for Klal Yisrael to have, one voice, one leadership. But in any case, they felt that it was overdone, and they said, well, this is one story. Then we have the story in BECHOROS. If you look at the Gemara Bracha, they say, oh, what about that story in BECHOROS where he was Mitzay Rabbi Shua? Okay, it's once, twice, three times, three strikes, and they deposed him. He lost his status, and then they had to go make a sharing arrangement, a new Nasi, and a whole story. Okay, continues the Mishnah. So in general, a kohen is not to be trusted. Regarding the mum on the bachar, unless he has testimony that it happened, naturally, it happened benignly. But we have one exception. At this point, we have one exception to the rule, which is pesha asa pesha hitit, or below is halacha. He's the fellow who told us about the fact that it's a bachar to begin with. He's trusted about the nature of the mum as well. Here comes another exception to the rule. Says the Mishnah. So a kohen can come along and say, look, I already showed this bechor with a mum to the mumcha, to the expert, and he certified it. Okay, now of course Rashi adds, let's remember there's a two-step process here. He first of all has to prove that it happened naturally, he has to bring Eidim. Then the Chacham will certify it. So he's believed to say that it was certified. Amar b'dam Rav, another exception to the rule, another case where a kohen is believed. So Yehuda quotes Rav. Neman HaKohen Leimer. The kohen is trusted if he says, "Bechor zeh," you should know this bechor here that has a mum. Nosan liYisrael b'mumay. The Yisrael actually gave it to me in its mum status. It didn't happen under my care. It happened under his watch, and it's a proper mum. My time. And why is he trusted in this case? Maybe he himself did it. No, it's verifiable. A person wouldn't lie. Kol milsa. David a fact which can be easily verified, such as going back to the alleged, donor and checking up with him. A person would not falsify that. So since he identifies the donor, look, the Yisrael gave it to me, something easily confirmed, can be easily verified, he wouldn't lie. Omer of Ashi, guess what? This corresponds to the same halacha in the Mishnah as well. That he's sort of attributing the certification to a specific chacham. We trust him because it's verifiable. Kohen can testify that it was a bechor shown to the chacham with certification. My time, why? Why do we believe him? For the same reason. We assume a matter that can be revealed and confirmed. A person would not falsify. Well, says the Gemara, there's a difference. Again, a kohen is suspected of perhaps, inflicting the mum, which is a law, but he wouldn't eat the kachim bachutz, as we said before. He needs certification. Right? So regarding his claim that it was certified, we believe him. He wouldn't do it otherwise. He wouldn't take it a shechter otherwise. But regarding his claim in the next case that it was given to him with a mum, perhaps that's false. He's saying it so that he doesn't have to prove that it was done naturally, right? Says the Hasam with the Kacham Mechutz Liachal in the Mishnah, of course we trust him that he certified it with a Chacham, because he would never dare otherwise. He would eat the Bukhar without getting it certified. It's Kacham Mechutz. Aval Hacha, but the story where he claimed that it was delivered to him with a mum, maybe he's falsifying those facts. Even the chashidi, maybe since the Kayanim are suspected, they're suspected even in this case, hoping nobody will ever verify and confirm with the source. Masar Shesvi comes of Shesvi with a kasha on Rabbi Marav that he can be trusted on verifiable facts. So we have this Mishnah, Maseches Demai. A person walks into town, he meets this fellow in the street, do me a favor. So the person that he met was not a Nema, was an Amaretz, wasn't a fellow who was lax in matters of master, but the visitor asks him, Kachli, please go and buy from me produce, Mimishu Neman. Find me somebody who's trusted. Or Mimishu Ma'aser, or from a person that actually is careful with master. Rashi explains Neman means he never buys from Oretz, he never gets involved in problematic material, or Ma'aser means he'll buy but he'll take off the master just in case. So basically, find me a trusted person, get me the stuff, and deliver it to me. Einay Neman. We can't trust the shliach that he did his job. Perhaps he bought it off the market. Why? Why not? It's verifiable. But we can apply this rule. A matter which can be revealed and confirmed. A person would not falsify that. No, there it's very different. Return Talmud Bavli. Because this is Tamute. This agent can just excuse himself. Oh, I thought that person was a trusted person. Sorry, I didn't realize. So therefore, there's no deterrent. He can always cover for himself, as opposed to our story where he's identifying the Yisrael who allegedly gave him the Bechor. He wouldn't do that if it wasn't true. Says the Gemara, actually, you're right. Seif Avadim Messiah. If you take a look at the next part of that same Mishnah, it's going to support Rabbi Marav's halacha. Something which can be verified. A person wouldn't risk falsifying. What's the halacha in the Seifa? Mish Ploini. So instead of just giving him general instructions, buy it from a Neman, as per your discretion, he gave him a name and address, says, buy it from that person. And he comes back claiming that he did. Or he's a Neman, of course you can believe him. Oh, why? Because it's verifiable. And likewise, now a case with the Kohen claiming that he got the Bechor from the Yisrael with him. Well, perhaps there's a difference. Hasam kivin disle tevea. Amir says over there, there's a tevea. Tevea means somebody claiming. Somebody holding him accountable. The purchaser, right? Who gave him instructions. Amir says perhaps there. He's fearful of covering up. As opposed to the Kohen, perhaps he's thinking to himself, who is going to go verify the facts? It's true. Identified my source, it's verifiable. Who's going to go bother? So perhaps in this case, you can't trust him. Omar Avriyam Ba'aba. So Avriyam exclaimed like this. He says, Manali liYehuda. This halacha that we believe the Kohen who claims that it was delivered to him with a mum was related by Rabbi Yehuda Marav, right? How does Yehuda, he called him Yehuda, how does Yehuda know this halacha? Ano begidul kavate. The truth is, I taught this halacha to Gidol. There's a gersa hadidihu. It's my halacha. I presented this halacha and I taught it to Gidol. V'Gidol kaveh b'didei. And Gidol is the one who taught it to Rabbi Yehuda. And it was a totally different halacha. I taught him different halacha. I'm the source. I'm telling you the correct version. This is what the halacha was. Not that a kohen is going to be believed if you claim. No. Neman Yisrael. We're talking that Yisrael is coming forth and informing us that he in fact delivered the Bechor to the kohen with a mum. That's what we're talking about. And he is to be trusted. But who says a kohen is going to be trusted? No. Says the Gemara, well, that's an obvious halacha. Why even bother talking about Pshita, of course? Why can't Yisrael? If Yisrael is never. Well, there is a twist here. Leitzarech must be talking about Katan Behidol. The sheep was small when he gave it to him, and now it's a giant sheep. So perhaps, it's a mistaken identity. Perhaps you can offer like Himle. Perhaps Yisrael doesn't really recognize the sheep anymore. And really, it's a totally different sheep. And the mum was afflicted by the kohen. It's not the same one that he gave to the kohen with him on Kamashma. The point is, we're not concerned about, confusion identity. So bottom line, we have two versions of this halacha. The earlier version was that the kohen is trusted, that he received this bechor from the Yisrael with the accompanying mum. That happened under the Yisrael's watch. According to the second Gersa, no, it's the Yisrael claiming that he gave the mum to the kohen. The surah in the town of Surah, Masnu, they learned Kalishna Basra, like the second Lashon, that only the Yisrael is Nemo, not the kohen. But this, however, Kalishna Kam, they went with the first version, that even the kohen is believed, and that's the halacha like Kalishna Kam. That even in that case, we trust him. There was a story that happened with Rafram, who lived in Pumbedisa. Havalei Bukhar, he had a Bukhar. He delivered to the kohen, didn't have a mum at the time. So it was upon the kohen to care for it until it gets a mum. Big burden. Azal Shadamimo, he couldn't resist the temptation, and he clipped the ear and made a mum. Now he has to show it to the Chacham to certify it. Right? So how's he going to get around it? Without the Chacham discovering that he did the mum. Yom Echad, so happens that one day, Chalash Be'ene, Rafram, who was the Rav, the Mumcha, he had some pain in his eye. He couldn't see, he couldn't really open his eyes completely. So the kohen took full advantage. He said, "Oh, perfect day. I'm going to go in there and slip it by him without him noticing who I am." He brought the Bechor to Rafram. Amarlein, he says, "Bechor is nosli Yisrael b'mum." You should know that this Bechor I got from Yisrael had a mum. Please take a look, and he just certify it, hoping that the Rafram would not remember that he himself gave it to the kohen with animal. Rafram was not going to be had. Arfsine, Rashi says, Arfsine opened, he forced his eyes open, despite his pain. And Chaza, he discerned his falsehood. B'shikrei. Okay, so he notices who it is. "Oh, you're my good kohen. What are you talking? What are you telling me stories? I gave it to you." I had no more. Amarle, he says, "Lava no David. Wasn't I the one who gave it to you without a mum? What are you telling me stories?" And he sent him off in shame. Now, despite this mishap, still Rafram would not back off from the position of Pumbedisa, which we learned earlier. They trusted the Kehanim in claiming that the Yisrael delivered to them with a mum. Despite this kohen took advantage, he says, "Hayu d'chatzef, this fellow is a brazen fellow. He's a one-off. Kuliam lechatzifi, we don't have to hold the same regarding everybody else." Meaning, we can trust the Kehanim despite this Okay, so basically, he stuck to his position that a kohen claims that he got a bechor from Yisrael with him. It's something that's verifiable, it's confirmable. A kohen would not dare falsify it unless he was an unusually brazen fellow, which is not common. How is Sarua? Comes another story about a Sarua. Sarua is a bechor who has unevenly, disproportionately sized limbs, which is an absolute mum. Okay, but the kohen decided to bring it to the Rav anyways. Rashi says Sarua actually means the eyes are disproportionate. Okay, they also come with the Ravashi, so it's presented to Ravashi. Omar, he says, what's the issue? Now Rashi explains he didn't know who the petitioner was. Was he Yisrael? Was he a kohen? He wasn't sure. Omar, he says either way it's okay. What's the concern here? If the petitioner is a kohen, Yisrael or Yisrael, either way, or Bechor Umuma Imoy, either way, it's a clear. It's a clear mum, and Rashi adds the words Sharikach Noilad, Enkan Chashada Sharikach Noilad. In this case, there's no concern about anybody having manipulated anything or inflicted the mum. It's a natural mum. He was born this way. What's the issue? Yeah, in terms of the nature of the mum, you're right. It's a valid mum, confirmed. But there's another issue. Listen to this. Maybe the fellow bringing the Bechor is really a Yisrael, the owner. There's another halacha. Okay, so now we shift gears. Until now we learned that the kohen is not to be trusted because perhaps he manipulated the mum. Here comes another halacha, even Yisraelim. Sometimes are problematic. Meaning, if a Yisrael brings a Bechor with a mum to a Rav, he's got to be careful because maybe it's the owner who decided to skimp the kohen and not give it to him. So we never certify a mum on a Bechor unless there's a kohen accompanying him. Unless it never get to the kohen. We'll never inspect a Bechor in the hands of Yisrael unless he's coming along with a kohen. Who's the deserving recipient of that Bechor? Make sure it gets to him. So how could we go and tend to this fellow who may be a Yisrael and may planning on keeping the Bechor? He says, no, big difference. Big difference. You see that he's a man of integrity. It's such a blatant, obvious mum. Why is he even coming to the Rav? Apparently, he's a conformist. He's following protocol. As we're going to see later, Chachamim established a system that you go show it to the Rav. To honor the Rav, right? So he's a man of such high standing integrity, of course. He's not trying to, cut corners. In a regular case, we can't trust the Yisrael who brings the Bechor. Neither kachim b'chutz li'achal, because although he's trying to avoid eating kachim outside, meaning he's trying to confirm that it's a proper mum to give him the green light, but maybe he's trying to steal the money of the kohen. But money of the kohen, chash, is suspected of stealing and pocketing the money that belongs to the kohen. So we're careful. Now, okay, this fellow certainly knows that it's a mum muvak, it's an absolute mum, which doesn't really need inspection. Why is he bringing it to the chacham? To give honor to the chacham, he's following protocol. The chacham avar. He's being so careful to honor the chacham, not to dishonor the chacham. Isura of it. You think he's going to do isra and steal the money? Of course not. You can trust him. Okay, so in general, we learned that the kohanim had to be taken with a grain of salt. You couldn't necessarily take them by their word regarding the mum on the Bechor due to the heavy burden that it carried. So they would be tempted to relieve themselves of that burden and cutting some corners. So we have to have edus. So it was a two-step process. Edus, that in fact there was a mum that happened unintentionally. And number two, then you have to show it to the chacham to confirm it. Exceptions where the kohen is believed, that's when it's peshas or peshahit. He's the one that informs us about the Bechor status, and then we trust him all along. Or if the kohen tells us that he showed the Bechor to a Rav, we believe him. And likewise, according to Medisa, first version was that if it's something verifiable, such as, the Yisrael delivered the Bechor to me with a mum on it already, in that case we believe him as well. Typically Yisrael can only come to the Rav with a kohen, but in this case, since he expressed exemplary behavior, certainly a man of integrity, we trust him even in the absence of a kohen. Now we shift from Bechor to Ma'aser. Ma'aser Behema was a similar type of system, right? The 10th animal is a Ma'aser Behema. If it has no mum, bring it up to Beis HaMikdash as a carbon. But let's say nowadays, again, the only viable option is to await a mum. I need it at home. Do we need the same verification system? No. Akoil Ne'eman, says the Mishnah, all ought to be trusted and believed al mumei Ma'aser regarding the movement on the Ma'aser Behema that it happened on its own. Why? Why not suspect him of cutting corners? My time. You know why? Because if he's so concerned about, the burden of the Ma'aser Behema, shadi b'mum mikaro. You know what you do? Just clip the air. You'd apply a mum before you made a Ma'aser to avert the system. Well, miyad hainafka. How would you know which one is going to come out as number 10? No, v'chitei mafkli b'sh asara. Perhaps he has the option of clipping and then making sure that's number 10. You can't do that. No, of course not. It has to be random. Warns against differentiating and picking between good and bad. Rather, what we mean is like this. the boy, if he's concerned about overload, he would just go around his whole flock, clip the ears before he puts them through the doorway and counts 1, 2, 3, 10, right? And you can do that. Once there's kedusha, you can't make a mum, but here he's preempting the kedusha. That's okay. So the fact that he didn't go about doing that, apparently he's not so concerned, and he's not, suspected of clipping ears of a carbon. So you can be trusted to say that it happened on its own. Okay, now for the process of certification. Okay, so the Bechor's eye is blinded. Missing a hand. His foot broke. So these are blatant, obvious mummin. You don't have to trouble yourself to go to the big expert. You can shecht it based on the ruling of 3, Bnei Knesses, members of the shul, somewhat knowledgeable. That's enough. Rabbi Yisrael, no. Mumcha is a mumcha. Afilu yesham chav gimel. Even if you have access to a bezdin, a court of 23 dayanim, eina nishchat. You have to go to the mumcha, to the expert, who got special, certification by the Nasi, special smicha, to certify bechor. Continues the Gemara. Rabbi Simlai, Rabbi Denasiya, these two Amiroim, Taravi, they both are quoting Mishmei in the name of Rishum and Levi. Amri, they both say like this. Amri, some say it was a little different. Rabbi Simlai, Rabbi Shum and Levi, Taravi, they both quoted Mishum in the name of Rabbi Denasiya Amri. They said like this. HaToras bechor b'chutz lo tabishlei shavnei knesses. You should know that even in the time of Beis Hamikdash, if a bechor was born outside Eretz Yisrael, they wouldn't bring it as a korban, the halacha. It has kedusha, and you have to wait until it gets a mum. So since it's not really roy for hakrava, Rashi says you don't need to go to the mumcha. They weren't so strict. You can just find 3 bnei knesses to allow it. Likewise, nowadays, even in Eretz Yisrael, if it's not meant for hakrava, this system is sufficient. Amarava, here's the catch. Ube mumen mubhaken. That's limited to absolute blatant mumen, as per the 3 examples in the Mishnah. So there we can just trust pretty much anybody. My kamashma, what's the chiddush here? Tanina, we discuss this in the Mishnah. Bechor shenismas einay, shnekta yadai, shraglai. Harezi yishachad api gimu b'nei knesses. So the Mishnah clearly allows us to use standard, people for blatant mumen. We're talking Bizman Azeh, right? So you see that you don't have to go higher than that. Well, you must listen, if only from the Mishnah, I would perhaps say, B'chutz Loretz, afilu mumen she'en muvhaken. Maybe, this would apply even if it's not an absolute mum. Because in any case, the animal is not really roy for hakrava, it's chutz Loretz. V'adik tani muvhaken, so why does the Mishnah specify 3 examples of mumen muvhaken? Not that it's limited to those. It's just like Diach HaKachet Rabbi Yossi. It was just meant to hide Rabbi Yossi's position that even in that case, when it's such a blatant mum, I still insist on a mum. Therefore, they come and clarify for us, no. The lenient approach of the Tanakama is specific to mum of hakim. So when it's a blatant mum, number 1. Number 2, it's anyways not fit for akrava, you can use regular individuals. Amar Vita, Amar Yirab. She related like this. Now, we're not sure if he's quoting Rab or Shmuel. Safek, it was a Safek Mishmei the Rabbi, he was quoting Rab on this halacha coming up. Safek, there was an uncertainty whether Mishmei the Shmuel is quoting Shmuel. Okay, what is the halacha? So either Rab or Shmuel said it. Gimel matir nas habachar makam shein mumcha. So again, we're talking about mumen mubhaken, clear-cut mumen. If there's no mumcha in town, you can have 3, bnei knesses allowing it. So as the Gemara, it's the Mishnah. My Kamash, what's he coming to teach us? Halacha of the Mishnah. Tanina, we learned this in the Mishnah. Rezi shachat al pi gilveis bnei knesses. Says the Imam, if only from the Mishnah I would think makom mumcha. That even when there's a mumcha around the corner, you don't need to go to the mumcha. Kamash, and that's why he comes to clarify. You should know. But makom she'ein mumcha in. You can only go to regular members when there's no mumcha around. But makom she'ein mumcha, when there's a mumcha around, you can't dishonor the expert. You have to go and utilize the services. Amar Rav Chia bar Amram. Okay, so back to this halacha. When it's a mum muvak and there's no mumcha, you can use 3 regular people. Give him matiras haneder, makom shem mumcha. Likewise, when it comes to hataras nedarim, nullifying a vow, if there's no chacham around, you can have 3 regular people doing it. Give him matiras habchar, makom shem mumcha. So let's go back and clarify the first halacha. You can have 3 people permitting the bechor when there's no mumcha. Return to the next amud lafuk, as opposed to Rabbi Yossi. As opposed to Rabbi Yossi in the Mishnah, who insists on always visiting the mumcha to allow the bechor, and he paskins not so. The second point, shloisha mafirin or matirin esaneder makom shein chacham. 3 ordinary people could allow a vow when there's no chacham around. Lafuk and Rabbi Yehuda, as opposed to Rabbi Yehuda, who doesn't allow. The sanya hafaras and darim begimel. Ordinary people can do it as well. B'daimer echad mem chacham, provided one of the 3 is a known scholar. So you need at least 1 member to be a chacham. Now, the heter to approach 3 ordinary people to matir nedarim when there's no chacham, it's only when there's no chacham. Now, b'makom she'ein chacham. But if there is a chacham, right, then you have to go to the chacham. How do you define a chacham? What level of scholarship does he have to possess? Give me an example. Rav Nachman Ganano. So he cited himself as an example of a chacham who was certified to matir neder. Rabbi Yehuda Amar echad men chacham. Now, Rabbi Yehuda holds, in all cases, one of the 3 members of this hataras nedarim bezdin has to be a chacham. So what about the other 2? They can be just totally unlearned? How can they join the bezdin of hataras nedarim if they don't know what's going on? Michlal, do you mean to say the hanach that the other 2 members kodu? Anybody, anything? No, Amar Ravina, no. They have to have some minimal, level of scholarship as well. They can understand if they're taught. The scholar, the 1 scholar member, will teach them if they need to learn it. They need to understand. He'll lead them on. So they have that ability to be led on at least. Amar Ravina, the mistabrile, it's a fellow that you can explain to him, and he'll understand, he'll grasp. So as long as you have 1, certified scholar on board, and the other 2 have potential, that works. Rabbi Yossi, he disagrees. You can never utilize the service of just regular people to matir a bechor. You have to go to the expert under all circumstances. How do we paskin? Amar Chananel, he quotes Rav, Amar Rav, Einach Rabbi Yossi, we don't paskin Rabbi Yossi. So if it's a blatant mum, you can go to 3 people in a shul. Well, obviously, it's a individual opinion against the consensus, right? Pshita Yochid v'Rab, Malach Rab. When there's machlokes between the Yochid, like Rabbi Yossi, and the Rab, of course we pass like the Rab. Well, perhaps Rabbi Yossi is different. He stands apart because he would always explain his position with clarity, articulation, in convincing fashion. So perhaps Rabbi Yossi is different. We go with him. Kamashmon. The point is no. We pass like the Rab. Okay, so bottom line, according to Rav, when it's a muvak, right? There's manazeh or in chutzlar, it's right. You can go show it to any 3 bnei knesses. Now, just one more point. We had a statement before which we were not sure about its precise origin. Was it Rav? Was it Shmuel? And the statement was that 3 bnei knesses can be matir bechor when there's no mumcha in town, which is in line with the Tanakama as opposed to Rabbi Yossi, who insists on a mumcha. The Gemara now will try to confirm that in fact that earlier statement was Shmuel speaking, that we pass like the Tanakama. It could not have been Rav, because then it's a repetition. Why would Rav have to come back and tell us here we pass like the Tanakama? He already told us earlier. So perhaps Tifshad, you can now confirm, based on this statement of Rav, just stated now that we pass like Tanakama, so we can confirm the Achkamais that the earlier statement, which is also confirming Tanakama's opinion, must have been in the name of Shmuel, Mishmei de Shmuel Itmar, because otherwise it's redundant. The Mishmei de Rav, because it's the name of Rav, Why does he have to say the same thing twice? Tati Lamali. No, maybe it wasn't the name of Rav. He didn't actually express it twice. One was implied from the other. One was derived from the other one. So Rav only said one. And based on that, we extrapolated the other one. Bottom line is, we pass like Tanakama. The mum is only when it's a complicated situation, where it's a blatant, clear-cut mum, you can approach, three Bnei Knesses and get your certification. Okay, so in a nutshell, we learned about the Eidos of the Bechor, even Eid Mipi Eid. We learned about Pesha Asa Pesha Hitte, so Kohen is going to be trusted in that case. We have the story of Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. We have another example where Kohen is Nemon, it's Avida the Shaker. Anybody's Nemon on Maser because there's an easy option, easy out to preempt the whole issue. And in certain cases, you don't even need the services of a mumcha. Okay, all the best to you. Much, much hatzlacha.